We plan to be shipping a few thousand devices per year on the device side of our business.
Okay.
And in the technology side, we'll probably be processing around 2.5 billion annually of credit card processing dollars. And on the consumable side, we'll probably be doing around $75 to $100 million a year of consumable volume, and that's injectables and device consumables.
Okay.
So the additional value that we're going to be able to bring to the general practice at that purchasing level is significant.
Yes.
Because we're just sitting in the middle of the aesthetics industry, and we help manufacturers upstream, and then we help the doctors downstream. Mm-hmm. So we're in a unique position to deploy some very exciting technology, save a lot of money for both physicians and manufacturers.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Technology of Beauty, where I have the opportunity to interview the movers and shakers of the beauty business. And today is no exception. We have two movers and two shakers. With us today is Brian Phillips and Sean Shapiro from MedShift. Thank you guys for coming all the way out here and joining us on the Technology of Beauty.
Thank you. Thank you. Good to see you.
It's great to see you. It's great to meet you.
Thanks
Sean,
for having us.
It's
great
always
to see,
great
always
to
good to see you.
So, let's start with this. Brian, where are you from?
Originally Seattle, Washington,
Yeah.
and moved to Charlotte, North Carolina in 1999 after school, and started with Microsoft. Started my career with Microsoft in Charlotte.
Well, wait, where'd you go to school?
Washington State University.
No way. You a Cougar?
Cougar.
Wait a minute.
Go
this is
Cougs.
over. Okay, we're ending the whole thing.
Go Cougs.
No way. You a Cougar?
You're a duck, right?
Go Ducks.
Here we
this
go.
is
Here
rivalry
we go.
time right now.
Oh,
Here we go.
No. Okay, so you went to Microsoft and you moved to Charlotte?
Yep. I started my career there, and really, came up in the technology industry.
Okay.
Started a few companies after Microsoft.
Well, tell us about them.
All right. The first company was a consulting business where I did security and big migration projects for large enterprises. I sold that one to a little bit bigger company that then we grew and sold to Accenture. So Accenture.
Oh, that's big time.
Yeah, it was good. It was great. That was in 2012.
Okay.
And after that experience, I was looking for the next project. And that's when I was having some dinner with some good friends in Charlotte, the Tillers, Porter and Lisa Tiller. They're industry veterans.
Yes.
And we started talking about what they were doing. And I thought it would be kind of fun to merge some of the technology that I had been working on with these interesting aesthetic medical devices.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then how'd you get hooked up with this knucklehead?
Oh, boy. Well...
It's a great story.
Yeah, you go. I mean,
So Sean Shapiro and I, full disclosure, have been friends for many years, and we go back to Zeltique and Old Therapy and Luminous, and we go back 20 years probably.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's great seeing you. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Sean.
Well,
Tell our audience a little bit about yourself. Where'd you go to school? I know the answer, and it pisses me off.
the University of Arizona Wildcats tonight, Sweet 16 champs.
Yes.
And
I
don't-
Oregon beat Arizona, just for the record.
Yeah, but you guys aren't in the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah, let's keep going.
We took a whole
We keep going. So yeah, college, undergrad was University of Arizona. Born in New York, grew up in Arizona. Father of three beautiful kids.
Yes.
Two, Luke, my new adopted boy. I have a 6-year-old girl named Lila and a 13-year-old girl named Scarlett. And I'm a great salesman, and I married a beautiful wife named Corey.
Yeah,
So
you married way over.
yeah,
there.
way over. That's
I know
how
the
you can.
feeling.
That's how you can tell you're a good salesman by the wife you have.
No
So,
question.
Yeah.
You're a great father.
Yeah. Oh, thank you very
And I
much.
appreciate all that you've done for your family. You're
Thank
a
you.
wonderful father.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
So
ultimately,
you guys hooked up how?
well, so my background from start was I got into this through friendships. Selling Gallo wine. There's a bunch of Gallo wine people in our industry that have done really well. And so through friendships, I got an opportunity to work with Luminous. And so this was early 2000s, and I was selling the IPL, the first IPL, the light shear, and the med spa boom started coming out. So I was doing that, was with Luminous for a long time, and then I got an opportunity from there to work with Zeltique.
Yep.
And I was early on in Zeltique.
Freeze the fat, baby.
Yeah, freeze the fat. That's when we first kind of crossed. That's when I met Erin, and she was the first trainer for me. Dave Higgy hired me. Terry Ross, all the
people on the show.
People on the show, great people. And I got that great opportunity to work as a salesperson there, and did really well. And then from there, I had an opportunity to meet with Matt Likens, who took me over to Althera and Jim Atkinson. And worked there, and that was where I really started getting into leadership roles and things of that nature. And we got acquired by MERS and got through that, and went over to MERS with the group and worked at MERS and helped with the Selfina and Althera and the device business there. And as we were going through that, I had an opportunity to take a first vice president role to a women's health company, Vivive, which you helped me very much get off the grounds. But that's really where I met Brian. We were at a trade show, I think it was the first month into the job, and I met Lisa Tiller, also a co-founder of the company. And Lisa introduced me to Brian, and we hit it off immediately. And he was already in the women's health space with the other companies. And so we started talking about how can we grow the women's health space, talk about these conditions in a way that could get to the mainstream public. And he had a part of the business called V-Confidence, which was really appealing to us to be able to do that. And so we started doing business with him right out of the gates, and Brian was awesome to work with. And he did represent about 60% of our business the first 2 years of purchasing machines and getting into this. So that's how I knew about MedShift. And then it's all incestual, as you know, in this industry.
That's right.
Porter, Lisa's husband, who also is an industry veteran out in Charlotte, good friends with Brian, was looking to make a career change, and I hired him as one of our first sales reps, who he became the best director in the East for us, and he ran all the East business. So we all became very, very close, and we had great relationships, great working with him. And when I moved to Soliton, was my last role, and that was a wonderful opportunity with Brad and the group there. And
that's Brad Hauser.
Yeah, Brad Hauser. He and so we got purchased, and that was awesome. And as we were finishing that up, Brian came to me and said, "We're growing this thing, and I'd like you to consider it." And Matt Likens always gave me the best advice about decisions. He said, always make a decision, people first, opportunity second, position third, in that order.
Let's go through this again. People first.
People first, opportunity second. People first, product second, opportunity third.
I think those are words to live by. And Matt Liken is a very smart man.
Yeah, he's been my mentor.
I've wanted him on this show for many years. I want him here. So if you talk to Matt, I've talked to him. I've invited him here. I want him on this show.
I'll tell him. Yeah,
he's taught a lot of us a lot of things.
He's wonderful, and so he shared that with me, and it's always kind of resonate through my moves in my career. And so people, I knew Brian, I knew the Tillers, I knew who they are as people, I knew who they are with customers, how they run their business. So that was the biggest draw, clearly. And I was like, I want to work with these people. And then obviously the opportunity that we'll get into about MedShift was, I knew them just from a device position on the other side. So they would buy devices me, and we would put them back into the marketplace.
Right.
And they would be able to help promote that through V-Confidence and other things that they had in-house that they were doing, and the technology and all of that. So I knew them from that side of the business. But now that I'm on inside of the business, I didn't realize Brian's background of technology and understanding how to integrate things and all of that is tremendous. And so that's where I was like, oh, the opportunity is completely here in regards to the other facets of our business there. And then obviously the co-founders of the Tillers, I loved working with them. I knew the quality of people they are and what they have done. And then I saw the numbers and everything else. I was like, okay, I want to be a part of this.
So you're in. Brian,
Yeah.
Tell me about your business model. What do you bring to the marketplace here in the aesthetic industry?
That's a great question. And, what we noticed early on was there was some clear gaps, I would say. The device manufacturers were really great at making wonderful systems that did certain things to tissue and created excellent outcomes. But their focus was solely, on the device and on selling those devices. There was a gap around the technology that, for example, connected those devices and gave the manufacturer information about what those devices were doing. So in the early days of the company, that's where we filled in right away. We built technology that could connect any manufacturer's device to our platform and read information in real time about what that device was doing.
Okay.
And in the early days, we did that because we were doing a pay per procedure model. And so we would take a normal device and turn it into a pay per procedure. And we
to the physician.
Correct. That's right.
So you put the device in the office?
We did.
The doctor didn't buy it?
That's right.
You would put it in the practice,
Yep.
and then you would charge the doctor according to utilization?
That's correct.
Okay,
Yep.
keep going. That's the early model.
That's the early model. And so really, if you were to look at the business today, this is 6.5 years later.
Okay.
We have 3 divisions. One is the device division, where we're still buying devices and we're placing them into service with talented doctors across the United States. The second is the technology bucket. And that's where we have different platforms that we mostly sell these platforms up to manufacturers. So on the device side of the business, the devices go down to the doctors.
Right.
On the technology side of the business, most of those things get sold up to the manufacturers. So we took the connected device technology, for example, and we are now selling that to manufacturers so they don't have to invest $1 million, $2 million, $3 million building a technology team who understands all of these complex things like encrypted cellular communication and cloud computing platforms and PCI compliance and HIPAA compliant data storage. They don't have to build that because we already built it. So they can just use our technology, plug it into their system, and instantly connect their medical device.
So if I'm a manufacturer of a device,
That's right.
I hire you. Now I'm the manufacturer.
Yep.
I hire you to do all that.
Correct. We already built it, actually. We've invested, I'd say, going
Do they
on.
pay per device?
Yes.
As a subscription?
Yeah.
Or how's that work for the manufacturer? I'll get to the doctor in a minute, but
Great
if
question.
I'm XYZ company,
Yeah.
and I have a new widget,
Yeah.
I come to you and I hire you. Do I pay you a subscription or
Correct.
How's that work?
Yeah, it's really simple, and it's very inexpensive. I mean, we're talking about $20 per device per month, kind of thing.
Goodness, you're kidding.
Yeah, that's it. And so
I'm going to try to raise that price.
Yeah. Trying to get at it.
we invested in the platform in the beginning for our own use so that we could see the procedures that were occurring and we could charge per procedure. So now we're on our 3rd version of that platform, and now we're just creating the opportunity for manufacturers just to subscribe to it. We already built it.
You said 3. I just remembered. You had 3
Yes.
parts, 3 buckets.
That's good.
What's the 3rd bucket?
So first bucket is device.
Right.
Second bucket is technology. The 3rd bucket is consumables. So a lot of the devices that we have in the portfolio require consumables.
Sure.
So we buy those in large quantities and we offer them at discounted levels to our doctors who have our devices.
No, wait a minute. No way.
Yeah.
So if I want to buy cool sculpting cycle cards, I can buy them cheaper from you than Allergan?
Not necessarily. Okay. Yeah.
Because I would think Allergan wouldn't like that.
No, but we buy them from the manufacturers, okay? And, in large quantities, pallet loads of consumables. We work with the manufacturer to determine what those are allowed to be sold at. And we're in lockstep with the manufacturer.
Of course you are.
So on the consumable side, though, as well, we have a wonderful partnership with MERS.
Okay.
Patrick and
Bob Radigan.
Bob, yes, of course.
Yeah.
And
Friends of ours,
Yep.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Been on the program.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're excellent product set and really wonderful injectable portfolio.
Yes.
We've now incorporated that into the consumable lineup as well. So now our device customers can get access to MERS injectables, and we can bundle
So
those.
the doctor, me, I own my practice.
Yep.
The doctor's watching this. We would buy Radius, for instance, from
Correct.
you.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep. So we run programs in conjunction with MERS that offer nice discounts to the consumable to the injectable products, MERS, Radius, Bellatero, and then also additive features. So different benefits within the program, different access to different trainings that we host, in combination with, for example, some of the devices that we have. It can go both ways. So it's mutually beneficial.
So think of it as this as well, Grant. To expand on that, we're a GPO that's controlled by the manufacturer. So the manufacturer wants us.
Define what a GPO is for all the people watching.
A group purchasing organization.
Thank you very
much. So
much.
we're that group purchasing organization. that we work with the manufacturers on what they want. So
Do the physicians pay you for a subscription or a membership to be in your GPO?
No.
So there's no upfront charge to the docs?
No.
And Sean's speaking specifically to the injectable business.
Correct.
The injectable business is built just like that. But we work different than a lot of GPOs that are in market selling independently of the manufacturer. We work with the manufacturer. So the MERS sales reps, there's 150, 160 sales reps in the United States. They actually bring the customers to MedShift because the additional benefits our program provides. So it's
symbiotic.
Correct.
You're not competitive with those.
Correct.
Right. And I think what's important here, it's the transparency. So for example, in other GPOs that manufacturers don't like, it could be the rep in one area absolutely doing a phenomenal job because they're pushing everything through the GPO, but it's going through all the United States. And so the other reps in the other areas are not getting credit for that.
Correct.
Or so on. And that's not from a culture, from a sales force, that's not what any manufacturer or team wants. What we have done from the technology side of Brian's brain is our dev team, our development team, in-house development, builds with the manufacturer a dashboard through whether it be their Salesforce or whatever their CRM is. And we'll show them clearly on their with transparency where everything's going so that everyone gets credit. And the manufacturer loves that because, hey, here's an opportunity for some of the lower tier offices that would love to get and buy $100,000 or $200,000 worth of Radius, but they're not going to get there because they're just starting out or that kind of the lower tier. But they would love to get the benefits. They can get into this program. They can get the benefits of that. The rep gets credit for it. It's all transparent to the manufacturer. They know where everything's going because we build all that system for them. And then on top of that, because who we are, we can create trainings and show ways to do those treatments that the manufacturer can't. So for example, a butt lift with Radius, how you do that. And so our KOLs will come on and we'll show that through our training session and all that. So it's a great program that we can provide, as well as if another product, let's say Althera with the injectable, we want to show how those benefit together, we can do that. And that's another added benefit that we do, or any other one of our manufacturing partners, which we have 17 of the largest manufacturers working with us, which is very exciting.
So I want to make a point here. What Sean just said is that they can actually teach procedures and technologies that the manufacturer might be limited in teaching. So alternative uses of products. And that's something that happens all the time, if you will, off-label. And this is a way in which doctors and providers, non-physician providers and so forth, can actually learn how to optimize the patient experience. Would that be correct?
100%.
And otherwise, the manufacturers have their hands tied. And I'm not sure everyone understands that.
So I think Sean touched on something that's really critical to our business and a lot of our customers' businesses, and that's inside the technology bucket, where we are effectively digitizing a lot of manual processes that the manufacturers are just bogged down with. So, for example, at Sientra is a customer of ours.
Okay.
They were upgrading their ERP platform, their enterprise resource planning, their back office system.
Thank you.
They were upgrading it to Oracle Fusion. Okay, and they were going to have to pay Oracle tons of money, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, to add some of these modules that would have helped them a lot.
Okay.
We came in and evaluated what they were going to do, and we could do the same thing for a quarter of the cost. And because we understand the industry and we have developers inside the business, we have 15, very hardcore software developers that write code for aesthetic companies only. Like, that's what we do.
Okay.
So we digitized all kinds of systems. For example, at Sientra, their payments platform. Now customers can pay an invoice on the internet. Instead of texting a credit card to their sales rep or calling the corporate office and over the phone. Or the FDA registration process for implantation for Sientra. When a plastic surgeon completes an implant, they have to register the device ID with the FDA. That now is going to be all pre-programmed inside of our system. So we're taking the manual process out of the
And you
system.
trim the cost.
Trim the cost. Oh yeah,
That's
greatly.
fantastic.
Yeah, So those, in many examples, you'll see a manufacturing company paying very high fees to process credit cards. And because our platforms integrate those procedures right inside, we're doing hundreds of millions of dollars of transactions. So our cost is much lower. And we pass that right through to our customers.
So you do credit card processing too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big part of the business.
I'll be darned.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I
All
didn't
of
catch. Is that
Sientra's
the
business.
third?
Yeah.
You do. Yeah.
It's inside.
Yeah.
the
Carolyn
technology.
Van Hove, the
Yeah.
chairman of the board. She's been a guest here on this program.
Yeah.
And Sientra is a fantastic partner of the Aesthetic Society.
Yeah, they're great.
So I didn't realize you were helping them with that software and the credit card processing.
Yeah, that's right. And also the customer purchasing experience. Traditionally, you can't order the product without talking to a sales rep or emailing somebody or doing it in a manual way.
Right.
Now, for many manufacturers, we run the e-commerce platform. So now the practice can simply just log in and order the stuff they want, and just like an Amazon experience, they get it shipped right to the office. It's integrated to of course, the CRM system that the manufacturer utilizes for their sales team, so they get notified that an order came in right away. The transaction is processed at a lower cost, and the shipping is integrated, and the whole warehouse environment is all tied together through our platforms. So the enterprise software side of our business, because it's focused on aesthetics, is a very unique product, and can provide a lot of advantages.
So that's the part. Okay, so you're doing this with consumables, but you're also doing it with capital.
Correct.
And capital acquisitions.
That's right. Yep.
So walk me through that a little bit. I want to buy XYZ laser.
Okay.
Or whatever, some capital acquisition. I'm buying it from you now, not from the manufacturer. How's that look? What does that look like to me as the doc?
So on the device side of our business, we will buy those in bulk from the manufacturers, the devices.
Okay.
And then we'll add services and other value-added items around that device. We'll build a program.
Cool.
And it's unique per device and per manufacturer. So we'll buy these, we'll build a program, and then the sales team will introduce us to the practice and say, instead of getting a loan from the bank or paying cash, you could take a look at this MedShift option. And it's a fixed monthly fee for 36 months or 48 months or 60 months. And instead of just getting a loan and buying the equipment, you now get the equipment, you get the manufacturer's support, but you also layer in MedShift support. And because our whole company is focused on aesthetics and we're building unique models around these devices, it's value add. And it's basically the same price as you would pay the bank for the lease.
Okay.
Okay.
So there's another company I'm thinking of right now, and I'll tell you in a moment. But do you also optimize the practice experience, like the gal who's answering the phone or the conversion from the contact? Are you teaching that sort of management? Or do you have a dashboard system where the practice can evaluate itself against other practices or against themselves? Month to month, day to day, week to week, and so forth?
We're not getting into that layer of the practice. We allow the manufacturer to do the regular trainings that they do. And what we do is layer in specific marketing campaigns, for example, paid campaigns that help drive patient flow to the practice.
That you've learned from experience.
Correct. Because if we have, let's say we have 100 Ultheras that are in market, we know how to pretty specifically drive some patient flow for an Ulthera practice. And we create that content and we publish it as part of our program. A practice would get access to a content library that's updated all the time. So that's one benefit, for example.
So that's the value add if they buy from you. Do you also sell that in the open market?
No, we don't. It's just for our subscribers on the device side. Yeah.
The other thing that's really important here is because we're not a bank, and the way the contract is set up as a subscription and service provided, it's a completely off-balance sheet transaction. Mm-hmm. So why is that so great? So think about...
Explain that to our listeners and watchers. So that's really a key point here.
It's a very, very key point, this off-balance sheet transaction with our program. And why that's so key is so we can think of it from multiple ways. So you're looking to buy a new house or buy multiple other practices. You need your leverage to loan more money, have that lever credit to do that. This will never show up on that. So you still preserve your ability to raise more cash and to do other things because it's under subscription service.
Right.
And that's really key. Think about private equity. So a lot of private equities in our field right now buying up dermatology and plastic service practices, so on and so forth. Private equity wants to keep their money so that they can buy more practices and everything. And so it's difficult from the manufacturer, from an equipment standpoint, to get into private equity because they want to see multiples on that purchase, right? If it's an off-balance purchase, they don't need to see those multiples, and the true ROI of services can come into play. So we fit that market extremely well. And so that is a big, big benefit. And also by partnering with the manufacturers, we look at other things like additional warranties, free shipping, things like that. So that's part of also our package. So we're not a bank, but we're another option to create a subscription program that allows you to bundle these things, an off-balance transaction, and typically warranty, shippings, and things like that are free. That really show over the period of time of the money our or a little bit more expensive than a bank loan. Okay. And so it's been a great partnership. And the other thing I think key to it, our team is we were in the shoes of the reps. So
right.
I did this for years. The tillers had done this for years. So when we connect with the sales team and everything, we understand speed of a transaction and the importance of what matters to the practice and what matters to the rep. So we take that at heart and we move very quickly. We're probably 10 times faster than a bank in approvals and how we look at how we approve things.
And again, I want to emphasize, you're not screwing the reps, right?
No.
Yeah, they're getting credit.
They're getting
still go to President's Club.
100%. 100%.
Because in other programs similar to this,
yes,
the reps get screwed.
No, so that's a great point, Grant, because obviously that's where my background is.
Yes.
And so what we have done is we've actually purchased the machines at a higher price so that they get maximize their commissions. Yeah. Because we know they're our sales force.
Yeah.
We don't have an internal sales force.
Did you say you're working with 17 companies? Is that what I heard you say?
Yep, correct.
So can you walk me through some of them? And I don't mean to be exclusionary.
No problem.
Kind of give us a feel. Because we talked about MERS, and that's injectable, and they also have devices. We talked about therapy.
Yep.
Are you more towards device? Are you more towards consumables? Are you kind of equally blended? Is it all aesthetic?
It's a great question.
Okay, walk us through that.
So it's in the past it's been 100% aesthetic. These are manufacturers like Luminous, Syneron, Vivive on the women's health side, Apex with the Renuvion device, MERS and their portfolio, Cartessa and their wide portfolio, AMP and their team. And so on the device side, we've always traditionally purchased devices, BTL, for example. We've purchased devices from these manufacturers, and we in effect are a customer of theirs in that realm. But now that the technology has really, the platforms have been built and completed, and we're launching those now. Where we were the customer, now we're servicing the manufacturers in a different way. We are actually providing services up to them.
Right.
So Apex, for example, not only are we buying 75 Renuvions this year, because that technology is really killer, we actually run their e-commerce store where the doctors buy all their consumables. We run their payments platform where all their money is processed. We run their shipping integration back into their warehouse. We're doing the whole thing. In addition to the connected device, the next version of their generator has our technology built into it.
Into the device.
So they'll have real-time visibility into their entire fleet of devices and what's happening with them. And remote air reporting, alerts. They can do things like upgrade the software remotely, worldwide. That technology.
On the cloud?
Yeah, through the cloud, through our platform. So Apex now...
So you don't have to send a rep out to the machine?
Or service.
Correct. Or service person? It can happen.
So think about the savings and the time and the management.
Are you kidding me?
Right. So
How many times?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Think of all the devices I have.
Right. Yeah. Right. So Cool Connect was really the one
I was going to say, this is Cool Connect on steroids.
That's exactly a great way to say it. This is Cool Connect on steroids. So what I thought, Brian, was amazing, one of the devices, what we call the card or the board, that integrates into the system and can create all functionalities like Cool Connect, how many procedures are going on, but it also can do the service upgrade. It can do a lot more. It's Cool Connect on steroids. That goes into the system. But we know there's hundreds of systems out there, and to go do that, that's an undertaking tremendous.
Hundreds of thousands
of systems out there, right? Even think about your office alone, right?
Right.
So what Brian and the team did, what I thought was amazing, is they found a way to retrofit all devices through a power cord and power surges, and that's what we call our cord device. So we could go out there and replace a standard 110 or 220 outlet cord, and we can now report where it is in the world, when it's turned on, what treatments are being done. So
That's
think
incredible.
of those advantages. Like Cool Sculpting found it. They got multiples off of it.
Yep.
You know, it changed the way the sales reps sell. They can say everybody around here is doing this many procedures, and it's true. You know, but think about that with all the devices and the sales and the value, and now the service opportunities, training opportunities, upgrades. Like one of the, I think
repairs.
the biggest, repairs. I mean, I know from launching a lot of devices, training is always difficult, right? And you hire training people, and you come in, and sometimes you're getting share of mind, and you're busy. They forget things, or they don't do the treatment for months. So you could see with this connection whether or not they're doing the right procedures, and figure out, I should send a trainer in there, or why is their utilization down? So it's a benefit both ways, and it's a really cool way to really see. And they, because of Brian's background and the team that we have, the dev team, they're smart guys. They've found a way to do this on steroids, is the best way to say it. And we're launching that, and some of our partners are just starting to do that, and it's been tremendous for us.
That is really exciting. Brian, how did you come up with this idea? What were you thinking about? I mean, it's brilliant. I absolutely love it.
Thanks.
I've been involved in this business for a while. I used to ride a Tyrannosaurus Rex to work in the marina. That's how old I am. This is a brilliant idea. How did you come up with this?
Well, quite frankly, in the early days, we built our first connected devices so that we could literally invoice our customers every month. Because
that was the need.
That was the impetus.
That was the need.
And then we said,
you had to bill your clients.
When
so
they use the
you had to look under the hood to bill them, right? That's right.
Exactly.
You were doing it. You were billing them per use.
That's right.
So you had to know. Otherwise, they'd be doing it and they wouldn't be paying you.
That's right.
I get it.
Yep.
Okay.
And so we developed it into such a robust platform that we said, why not just offer this to manufacturers, because they don't have it today, and they don't want to spend money to build a team to do this in-house. They want to spend money on really smart engineers and physicists to build a better device. Yeah, technology.
They want to build a technology.
That's right. And so it's worked out really well. We have major manufacturers who are implementing either the cord, the power cord version of the connected device, or the board, which is fully integrated, to the system. We have major manufacturers doing that, and those devices are coming out across the next, really 5 years.
That is really exciting. So speaking of the next 5 years, so I see you brought your crystal ball with you. I saw it underneath your jacket there.
Yeah.
So what's the future look like? And you look 1, 3, 5, and even 10 years down the line. Mm-hmm. I can't even imagine 10. Let's say 1, 3, 5, Brian. This is ingenious what you've come up with.
Thank you.
What's the future? What are we looking at?
I'll tell you what, I think in the near term, it's great to be talking about the technologies and the things that we're doing to help manufacturers. There's a huge unmet need there inside of the aesthetics industry, specifically, where there's so many inefficiencies and there's so much additional cost being spent, just dollars on manual processes that we can help automate. And we're really looking forward to, in the short term, letting manufacturers know that these services are available and getting the discussion started with them, and optimizing their business, to give their customers a better service. So in the short term, we're really looking forward to that. I think in the long term for us, 3 years and 5 years, we plan to be shipping a few thousand devices per year on the device side of our business. Okay. And in the technology side, we'll probably be processing around 2.5 billion annually of credit card processing dollars. And on the consumable side, we'll probably be doing around 75 to $100 million a year of consumable volume, and that's injectables and device consumables.
Okay.
So the additional value that we're going to be able to bring to the general practice at that purchasing level is significant.
Yes.
Because we're just sitting in the middle of the aesthetics industry, and we help manufacturers upstream, and then we help the doctors downstream. Mm-hmm. So we're in a unique position to deploy some very exciting technology, save a lot of money for both physicians and manufacturers, and couldn't be more excited to have Sean on the team.
Well, this is extremely exciting.
Thank
and
you.
I can think of a few other companies that I'd like to hook you up with that would actually optimize you as well as you optimizing them.
That sounds great.
And I love these synergies.
Yeah.
What you're bringing to the marketplace is truly unique and beneficial.
Yep.
I can see that this is going to rise the tide, as we talk about the rising tide raising all boats and all.
Right.
I can see where this is a true value add for both industry as well as the consumers like me, the consumer doctors.
Yep.
And then it translates into the consumer patient experience because
right.
we're optimizing and make it more efficient and so forth. So thank you very much for coming out here from Charlotte.
You got it.
Flying all the way out here to LA and being our guest. I want to thank you once again.
Yeah.
And I encourage you to come to the Aesthetic Society meeting, which I know you are.
Yeah.
The American Society for Aesthetic Plastic Surgery.
Yep.
Where the best and brightest of aesthetic surgeons hang out, and you know that, Sean.
Oh, yeah.
So welcome to the family.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate all you do.
Thank you very much.
And I'd like to thank all of you for joining us again on this fabulous show. I'm sure you all learned a lot. I know I did. And I want to thank you, and I welcome you next Tuesday for another show of The Technology of Beauty.